Hello, and welcome to the Bold Explorers Sunday Chat. I'm Richard Vobes. It's the 30th of May as this goes out, 2021, and this is my chance to have a little chinwag with you, the lovely audience, and bring you up to speed with things that we've done that you may have missed out on and things coming up. One thing, let me say, first of all, that looks like the weather has changed, and how brilliant is that? I don't know if you're enjoying the bank holiday weekend. If you're not in the UK, of course, you may not have the same bank holiday weekend that we're having. It's our May Day bank holiday weekend that happens at the end of May. And I can tell you, I think people are so thrilled that there's a bit of sunshine. Oh, I can tell you I am. So as ever, on my Sunday chat, I have a list of items to have a chinwag about. And the first one is to say that I'm suffering with a cold. It's not that. Let's not mention the name, but you know what I mean. It's not that. It's just your normal summer cold that's coming. I got the sniffles, I got the runny nose, I got that bunged up feeling. At first I thought it was possibly a bit of hay fever. Not that I really suffer with hay fever, but sometimes I think, it must be that I've been sneezing and all of those things. So it's probably best that I've kept away from most people, as you would do in normal life. Exactly. But I have been suffering that, and I'm just having here a bit of lemon and hot ginger. So excuse me as I drink from my very lovely Floating Our Boat cup. Well worth checking them out on the YouTube channel. Brilliant, Fran and Rich in their new boat as they go exploring and cruising the canals of the UK. Cheers to them. And cheers to me, and hope that my cold gets over soon. Thank you very much for that. We are hoping that in, 21 days, 22 days, on the 21st of June, that Mr. Boris Johnson is going to hold to his promise of opening up. I know there are many voices out there saying, it might be a bit early. We may not open up. We should extend it a bit longer. I don't think we will. I think we will manage to get out. I think that things will start to go back to normal, but who knows what it will be like towards the winter, at the end of autumn, when more of the potential flu and other things start to come in. But I'm hoping it will not affect what I'm doing when I'm going out and about and exploring this wonderful country and bringing you the landscape, heritage and nature. So let's have fingers crossed. Well, that's not really a fingers crossed, is it? That's it's a praying thing to whatever God you have, whoever it is, whatever it is that makes things work for you. Let's hope that we can open up and get out and go further afield. Talking of going further afield, you will have noticed that this week I did do a trial run, a very successful trial run, camping. Again, thanks to Ian McCagan, who very kindly allowed me to camp in his field. And actually, he said, Richard, you can come back again, maybe stay a bit longer. You could stay for a week, bring the lovely Julia and Joe, stick up a tent, whatever you like. And I spoke to the lovely Julia, and she said, that would be fantastic. It'd be so good for Joe. Whether it would be good for filmmaking, I don't know. I'm sure it will. But there are so many places. We were going into Hampshire last year in March, just when we were called back from our B&B. We had an Airbnb, Julia and I, and we'd both got ensconced in our little separate rooms. And I think we had a travel cot, as I remember, that Julia had managed to get into her room. And then we were called back, and so we had to pack up everything and head back down to Sussex. And we only managed, I think we managed one night. We did a couple of walks en route to there, and then that night we were told we had to come back. So the next day we came back. It was bonkers. And we were hoping to get up into the hangars. We wanted to do the zigzag path at Selborne, look at the ancient tracks, and all around that area, really. So maybe we can. And I thoroughly enjoyed my trip and the camping trip, despite the rain, which was coming and going on the first day. The second day was brilliant. But I had to come back because the weather did actually change. But I knew I was coming back because I wanted to edit up both videos. And I learnt a lot from that. One of the things is, of course, without power, it's difficult to keep the laptop going. Now, thank you to everybody who made comments and suggestions. I do want to have a look at some solar panels, which I can have as portable things to stick on the roof of the van when we're at the campsite or wherever we are, so that I can sort of recharge up the batteries. And my little Mighty Oak portable leisure battery was great. The van does actually have a leisure battery in there, and some things you can operate when you've got the engine running. So there are ways around it. So I did find out a lot of things about that, so that's good. What else did we find out and learn about? Oh, yes, if the weather is damp and what have you, I do need a side awning, I think, on a field trip, a literal field trip, because keeping going all the way round was a bit of a nightmare. Now, I've got to blow my hooter. Please excuse me because of this dripping nose. The old tap is dribbling away. So excuse that. So that was interesting, and I learnt stuff about that. I have been thinking about the van in great detail. I'm not going to make huge changes this year because basically I haven't got the time. I want to be out. I want to be exploring. I don't want to waste the sunshine, as it were. So I'm going to keep what I've got, but I'm going to extend a few things. I want to try and create more cupboard space, and I have got that potential with the interior underneath the bunk. Rather than get stuff from having to get out and go round the back and then open the doors and get into it, I want to cut through underneath the bunk and put more cupboards in there, so that in that little space one can grab things. So I'm working on those ideas. I do want to try and build, if I can, my own little rear tent. I have got some canvas, well, it's PVC canvas, which is really, I think it's sailing material, very heavy duty. I've used it before. Unfortunately, it is bright pink. I got it when I was building, or in the process of building, a sort of portable theatre for a Snug and Cozy show, the kids' TV series that I had, that Nigel and I were going to tour around in. However, we didn't get the third series that we were hoping for, which was nothing to do with us. We were actually quite popular, but a political decision with a number of programmes happened, and we were one of the several casualties on that, and so we never got the third series, which is a shame. So that all of that had to go into the bin, really, in the literal bin, not a literal bin, in a sort of metaphorical bin. But I kept this big roll of PVC stuff, so I could probably make some. I've used it for numerous bits and pieces in the past, but what I'm now looking for is somebody who can do some stitching. If anybody knows where I can get some industrial stitching done, because this is, I forget how many meters wide it is, but I need to sort of stitch several together and then work out a method that it can come over the top of the doors at the back and then drop down to give me a little space, a sheltered space, privacy space for a shower and washing area. And if I want to cook outside, that sort of thing. And then there's probably enough also to make up an awning that comes out on a roller, which I could probably just get some sort of pole that fixes to the van. There's probably some way of doing that without having to go to the expense of one of these proper awnings. I don't like the material, that weird sort of thin nylon stuff. I do like, although it's pink, and I admit that it is a funny colour, it is very hard wearing, and I think that coming out the side on a couple of poles with guy ropes could work really well. So there's lots of ideas there, and maybe in the autumn or in the winter, if I decide that that's the time to do the big change and pull out everything and start again, that's when I'll probably do that. So lots of ideas. It's just a question of finding time to implement them, because of course I'm trying to make a video every day, and you'll know but by my general standard that it can take quite a while. All the different setups that I try to do to make the videos look fluid but also have a certain quality. I'm hoping that you're enjoying them. I know that a lot of people have enjoyed the Ollie and Vobes one that went out yesterday. This is Ringer Ollie, who is a young bell ringer from East Sussex. And you would have seen possibly some of the videos that we've done together. We seem to have this a little bit of mad banter with us, and I know it's not for everybody, but most people seem to enjoy it, and most people think it's quite humorous, and we've enjoyed doing it that way. We didn't try to do it that way, it just sort of came that way. So I'm sure that Ollie will be more than happy to do some more. And as he said, he wants to take over the show. So maybe I'll get him to do one episode all on his own. We did actually speak about that. We have an idea for that. So watch this space. But yeah, we enjoyed the sort of light-hearted thing. And I think every now and again, it's quite fun to throw in a bit of light-hearted stuff. Well, I'll keep an eye on the viewing figures and see how it goes down. But I'm hoping so anyway. So we'll do some more of that, which is great. Time for another slurp in the Floating Our Boat cup. Try and fight off the cold, which I'm doing my best to do. Sussex Border Walk. It's the bank holiday weekend. We've got some good weather. You might think this is the perfect time, but I know that bank holiday weekends is the time to really, as much as you can, avoid getting on the roads. The World and His Brother is out. I think there's events going on at Goodwood this weekend. Wouldn't be at all surprised. And the A27 is notorious for certain hold-ups. Of course, I've been making some videos which have highlighted some of that. And of course, people are talking about bypasses, and that's a whole nother bowl of contentious soup that it's important to highlight. And that's one of the reasons why I don't get on the roads really and go terribly far during the bank holiday. Let everybody enjoy themselves, I say. And then once they're all back at work, and I can get back on the roads and go out nice and early and do some more Sussex Border Walk. So I am hoping to get back on that after the bank holiday. I want to really start making progress on there. I may tweak the format somewhat in order to get it done, because I'm worried that it's just becoming one of those things that I do very, very rarely, and I really want to crack on with it and get it done. I don't want to be the fount of all knowledge on there. I don't have the time to get all of that. And the thing is, no matter what I do, and I've noticed this, even if I only add in a few facts, or even if I try to add plenty of facts, I get so many comments of people going, oh, you missed this, or you didn't mention that, or you never went there, or didn't you know that behind you was this? Well, clearly I am not a knowledge. I'm not Wikipedia. I'm not a walking encyclopedia of everything and where I go. So better, and actually I'm much more excited to be able to go to some of these places and just say, look, I don't know what I'm looking at. This is exciting, and just explore it. So I may tweak the format a little bit in that direction, and that we'll all go exploring together. And as I said before, I'll let those people who know, who feel a bit pompous and want to say how much their knowledge is, they can tell us in the comments. All those clever clogs can say, well, I do know about this church, and did you know there's this, you should have looked at, and let them do all of that. I don't care. Whatever. So we will resume that. I want to get back onto that. Another important thing, that since COVID, since the March last year, we had to curtail, and that was the Bald Explorer group walks. This, for those that have joined up in the interim time and haven't heard of this, we were, I think for about a year, we were doing every month we would have a group walk, and I think it was usually at the end of the month. It was the last Saturday or the last Sunday, and we would alternate those, whichever one it was. So if it was January, the last Saturday, then February would be the last Sunday, and then March would be the last Saturday. So people could work out in their heads and in advance. And of course I knew that some people couldn't do Saturdays and some people couldn't do Sundays, and so that's why we did it that way. And we would get something between 12 and 20 people who were interested, and we would go walking across the Downs and various other places. St Leonard's Forest was another one. We went to all sorts of interesting places. We went over Burton Park and had a look at Burton Mill, and the gentleman there who ran Burton Mill opened up specially for us and showed us the workings of a genuine old mill, water mill, and things like that. I think we went to Jill Mill, up at the Jack and Jill Mills on Clayton Hill. We went up there and had a look at that. So we've done some fascinating, wonderful things, but of course we were curtailed when COVID came about, and we're hoping that after the 21st of June, and we see exactly what Boris is saying, we aim to get that back up and running. And so if you're interested in coming on a walk, then do let us know. We generally do about 3 miles. They're not long walks, they're leisurely walks. If we can arrange it that it's near a cafe or a pub, then that's great. Otherwise, if it's lovely weather, we just say bring some sandwiches. Nobody has to pay for a meal. You can bring your own sandwiches, your own flask of tea or coffee or fizzy drinks, whatever. And we'll just have a sit down and have a natter. It's a great way of meeting one another, especially those who are in the Facebook group who share pictures and, your familiar names. But where we can, we meet up. At the moment, mostly they are in the southeast and mostly they are around Sussex, because that is where the main hub of the people are. But we hope that as we progress again, that we get further afield, and the more that I and Julia and other of the regular contributors go about make the videos, that more people will come from different parts of England, and that we can meet all over the place. So if you're interested in that, it's great fun. We usually, it's usually about 2 or 3 hours, and then that's about it. So they are coming back. And finally, just to remind you that if you are a patron of the Bald Explorer, we have the patron-only podcast. Now, this is a podcast that goes out to those who have supported and joined the mailing list. And so basically, if you are somebody who has supported, you should have had the subscribe to the mailing list emailed to you. And if you do support, you'll get the standard email saying, thanks very much for supporting. Here is the mailing list subscribe button or link. And then you can subscribe to the mailing list. And every Sunday, you should get something. At the moment, we're going through the old Vobes' archive. Last week, we had Murder of a Brewer, which was a full-on production that I did in 2000, I can't remember, 2006 or something like that, long time ago, but it was really good. Thanks to everybody who got in touch and said they really enjoyed it. It was a lot of work, I seem to remember. I'm not sure what's going out today. I've got to have a look in there. Sometimes they're old Vobe shows, the old original podcast. Sometimes they are what we were called walking tours. I think recently we did HMS Nelson's ship, which has now just gone out of, not the Pelican, whatever it is. Is it Trafalgar? No, that was the Battle of Trafalgar. Well, anyway, whatever it is, it's just typical. As I record this live, and I'm aware that I'm burbling away. I'm desperately trying to remember the name of his ship, but it's gone completely out of my head, but so be it. And I know somebody will be going, it's so-and-so. Yes, I know. I'll know. As soon as I stop filming, I'll know. Victory. There you go. It's come to me, HMS Victory. So I did that was one of them. And what I'm aiming to do is to put all the ones that we've released on a web page so that those people who haven't heard them all can. Also, we've had In Conversation with podcasts, which is about a 45-minute In Conversation with many of the viewers. If you would like to be one of those and have a chat to me about anything under the sun, really, we do it over the phone or over the internet on a Zoom type of connection, and it works really well, and it's fascinating. People seem to love it. So that's what we're doing at the moment with that. But it's my way of saying thank you very much for supporting. It's a little extra piece of icing on the cake, but mostly all the patronage just helps to put diesel in the van and pay for the odd bits of equipment, the odd microphone that might need replacing, a new lens here and there, or especially a little tripod, or those sort of things to keep the videos going, because I don't get paid in any other way other than the adverts that go on, which isn't a huge amount of money on the YouTubes. This is my full-time job, so it's the only way I can earn a living. And if I can't make it pay, then I'll have to stop. And I don't want to, and I know that a number of people do support me. They don't want me to stop, so we'll do our best we can. So there we go. It is a bit of an eclectic stuff. I know that I do all sorts of different things, and so people have said they love the variety, and I'm very thrilled that that's the case. Anyway, I've burbled on long enough. Thank you for indulging me. I hope that you have a great bank holiday if you're watching this as this goes out. But in the meantime, he says, looking for the off button, which I've lost the cursor. There it is. Take care, look after yourselves, and I'll see you out and about in England's heritage landscape and nature. Bye-bye.